Am I audible and visible to all of you? I hope I'm audible and visible to each one of you. गाइज वेलकम बैक एवरीवन। आज हम लोग अपना शुरू करने वाले हैं। टुडे इज द सेकेंड डे ऑफ द एमसीक्यू सेशंस, जो मैं आप लोगों के एमसीक्यू सेशंस ये ले रही हूँ। इन एमसीक्यू सेशंस का जो हमारा रूटीन रहने वाला है दैट इज गोइंग टू बी ऑन अ डेली बेसिस। हम लोग डेली मिला करेंगे सेम टाइम पर, और जितने भी मैक्सिमम हम लोगों के एमसीक्यूज 1 घंटे के अंदर अंदर कवर अप हो सकते हैं हम वो लोग डेफिनेटली करेंगे। मेरी कोशिश ये रहेगी कि हम लोग 50 एमसीक्यूज तो कम से कम करें। एंड इसके अलावा हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं, बीच में अगर कोई भी ऐसा डाउट आप लोगों का अराइज होता है विच इज समथिंग ऑफ वेरी एट मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंस, तो हम आफ्टर माई लेक्चर उस एक डाउट को हम लोग पिक करके उसको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कर लिया करेंगे। सो आई होप आई एम कंप्लीटली ऑडिबल एंड विजिबल टू ईच वन ऑफ यू। क्योंकि आज हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं, फाइनली what we are gonna do is we will start with our lecture, MCQ lecture. Today is our day 2, sorry। जल्दी से ज्वाइन करिए प्लीज एवरीवन, एंड टेल मी am I clearly audible and visible to each one of you? That's wonderful. So many students have joined. Good morning, Bushra. Bushra, thank you so much for your comments. You never forget to give that. Thank you so much. Sabarjeet, good morning. Suhana, good morning. Vishal, Gaurav, Suhas, Shashashvi, Deepak, Anisha, a very good morning to all of you. I hope you all are doing really well. चलो, विदाउट वेस्टिंग एनी टाइम, हमारी आज की क्लास का जो मोटिव है, जो पर्पस है, उसको हम लोग सॉल्व करेंगे। सो इट इज़ वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट वी शुड फोकस ऑन द मेन क्राइटेरिया, दैट इज द एमसीक्यू सेशन। See, when I'm talking about the multiple choice questions, that is the MCQ session, this particular session is important not only for the CMA students, because CMA students have got an exam pattern of the MCQ based, correct? But it is also important for every chartered accountant student, for every company secretary student, and for every student who is learning this particular topic in their other subjects, or in any other courses they have taken admission of in. So when we are talking about the ICA 1872, it's a huge chapter, huge chapter. That is why it is going to take almost a week. Today is the second day. We are going to start with offer and the acceptance. So just tell me one thing, am I clearly audible and visible to each one of you? Because now I will start and we will not stop until we have achieved some good number of MCQs, until we have completed some good number of MCQs. So what is the question number 1? Let's focus. I am just going to zoom in. So zoom in करना important है. I hope it is now visible. The questions are totally visible. The screen is visible. Okay, wonderful. So guys, let's focus. Question number 1. Question number 1. A bid at an auction. It is an express offer, it is an implied offer, it is a general offer, or none of these. What you guys are going to think? See, most of the people are going to think that, okay, ma'am, when we are, going in an auction, when then we are supposed to make an offer, and we are expressing it with the use of words, we are expressing it with the use of written or maybe the oral words, right? So definitely it is an express offer. But let me tell you, when I'm talking about the term called auction, which is defined under the Sales of Goods Act 1930, this question has been framed to explain us that whenever the auction is happening, any person who is sitting in the auction and is quoting any number is supposed to have given a bid. If you are sitting in an auction and you are using a number, you are stating a number, you are expressing your number, if you are, even if you are saying any number in the bid, in the auction, it will be considered as a bid in the auction. So whenever I'm talking about a bid at an auction, it is a kind of an implied offer. See, if you are sitting in an auction, right, and by mistake Gaurav stated that 5 lakhs, like 6 lakhs, so even if he did not meant to make any kind of an offer, still it would be considered as an offer because of the circumstances. And what are the circumstances? That you guys are sitting in the auction. If you are sitting in the auction, whatever the number you are stating, that will be considered as a bid, even if you do not wanted to, quote that. So a bid at an auction, it is a kind of what? It is a kind of an implied offer. Okay, just 1 second, guys. Just 1 second. Hold on. It is very much important to understand the reason behind every kind of a question. You don't have to answer the questions like, okay, bas kar diya answer. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. It shouldn't be like that. 1 second, guys. चलिए, welcome back everyone. देखते हैं जल्दी से next question. What is our next question is, okay, so here is the question number 2. An advertisement to pay reward to anyone who traces the missing boy of the advertiser is, it is called as an express offer, an implied offer, or a general offer. So see, listen to me very carefully. Whenever we are answering to the MCQ questions, there may be a possibility that we will get more than two answers who which seems to be very correct, and they seems to be very correct, very similar and very much required at the time of the question, but you have to choose the most important answer, the most important answer. Now the kind of a question you have in front of you, the answer can also be an express offer, but the best suitable answer in the case of question number 2 would be the general offer, and the case behind it is the Lalman Shukla versus Gauri Dutt. I hope you guys express offer nahi hoga, nahi suhas, it shouldn't be like that. I'll explain it again later. Now, an advertisement to pay reward to anyone who traces the missing boy of the advertiser, it is called as the general offer. Guys, अपनी मर्जी से ना extra questions के answers मत दीजिएगा. जब तक हम लोग एक एक question को discuss नहीं करेंगे, it is no point, there is no point in discussing, and there is no point in answering the extra questions. So now let's talk about question number 3. An advertisement to sell the goods by auction. You are giving an advertisement to sell the goods by auction. That means the auction has not yet been conducted, but an advertisement has been issued to sell the goods by the auction. Now tell me, is it an express offer? It is an implied offer? It is a general offer? Or is it just a mere statement of intention to hold the auction? The correct answer with respect to question number 3, that it is just a mere statement of the intention to hold the auction. I'll tell you the reason. What is the reason? See, in the auction, whenever you guys are conducting the auction, the persons who are giving the bids, the person who are giving the bids, they are called as the bidders. And bidding in the auction is actually called as the, giving a kind of an offer, right? But if you are just giving an advertisement, if you are just giving an advertisement that there will be an auction, right? You are giving the advertisement on, say, on 2nd of the April, that on 25th of the April auction would be there, right? Now the auction is going to be on 25th of the April, but you guys have issued an advertisement. So this advertisement is not a general offer. Offer is meant to be accepted, but you cannot accept this advertisement. Why? Because this advertisement is only and only declaring the intention behind the auction. What is the intention behind the auction? Selling of the goods. Am I clear with this, everyone? बोलो रे, जल्दी से बताइए। गाइस कोशिश करिए कि जो भी क्वेश्चन आप लोग अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं, आंसर देते समय ना प्लीज मेक श्योर टू राइट द नंबर एंड देन राइट द ऑप्शन. It will become very easy. It will become very easy for us. Okay, now let's get back to the next question. Question number 4. Question number 4. A notice that a goods which are stated in the notice will be sold by tender. There is a notice that the goods which are provided or which are stated in the notice will be sold by the tender. Now tell me, what is going to be the best answer for it? Is it an express offer? Definitely not. It is just a mere statement, we can say. So it is not an express offer. It is not an implied offer. It is not a general offer. There is a very thin difference between a general offer and a mere statement. But remember one thing, any kind of an offer, whether it is express, whether it is implied, whether it is a general offer, whether it is a specific offer, the second step has to be the acceptance. If the second step doesn't has to be the acceptance, then definitely the first step was not the offer, right? So in this case, a notice that the goods stated in the notice will be sold by the tender is not an offer. It is mere a statement of the intentions to sell the goods. Now, next question number 5. Display of goods in the shop for sale with price tags in the big bazaar where the self-service, where I need to correct the spelling, where the self-service system is there. Tell me, is it an express offer, implied offer, general offer, or an invitation to make an offer to buy? Definitely, it is not just a mere declaration of an offer, it is an invitation to make an offer. When I was explaining this topic, the topic, which topic? Invitation to an offer. When I was explaining this topic of invitation to an offer, invitation to an offer, I gave 3 examples. I hope you guys must be remembering that. One is the display of goods, display of goods. Second is the sale of goods by auction, sale of goods by auction. And the third one is the prospectus. All these 3 examples are very important because mostly the MCQs are based on these examples only. And now this is something which you have already seen. So in question number 5, it is not any kind of an offer. It is mere an invitation to make an offer. Am I clear with this? Question number 6. A prospectus which is issued by the company for the subscription of its shares and debentures. It is an express offer, implied offer, general offer, or what it is actually. It is an invitation to make an offer to buy. Next is your question number 7. An advertisement inviting the tender to supply specific quantity of certain goods during a specific period. There is an advertisement which is inviting the tender to supply specific quantity of the certain goods during a specific period. Tell me, what kind of a thing is it? It is an advertisement which is inviting. It is clearly has been mentioned that it is inviting. That means it is a kind of an invitation to an offer. It is not an offer at all. Usually whenever you are forming a contract, the first the first step towards the formation of a contract is making of an offer, whether in an express way or in an implied way. But In some unusual circumstances, there are the possibility that before the offer, there may come some other steps like mere declaration of an intention, like invitation to an offer, or just a mere discussion. That's it, right? Next is your question number 8. An approval of tender to supply the specific quantity of certain goods during a specific period. It becomes, if you are giving an approval, someone has given a tender, someone has proposed to provide a kind of the goods to you. See, for example, यहाँ पर एक एग्जाम्पल लेकर चलते हैं. Let's take an example. Tender has got multiple meanings. Tender is sometimes called just an offer, sometimes it is called as a standing offer, an offer which is made for a continuous period of the time. Correct? And tender is also sometimes called as the, when we are reading that performance chapter, tender of goods and tender of services. But usually, tender means what? A kind of an offer. And specifically, it is called as the standing offer. So if any person is giving a tender to the government, that means they are proposing to the government that, see government, we are ready to provide this specific quantity or this specific goods to you. If the government gives approval, it is a kind of an acceptance. If the government gives approval, it is a kind of what? An acceptance. So tell me one thing. If this thing is being done and on approval of the tender, if we are talking about the approval of the tender, what kind of a question is this and what kind of the answer it would be? Simple सी बात है भाई, आप लोगों का approval देना of a tender to supply the specific quantity of certain goods during a specific period. It becomes a standing offer. Question number 9. Question number 9. Cross offer by two parties to each other amounts to acceptance of one's offer by the other. Do not amounts to acceptance of one offer by the other. It amounts to an agreement. It amounts to an contract. When I am talking here, when I'm using this word called amount does not mean numbers. Amounts means the result. Cross offer by two parties to each other, will it result to acceptance of one offer by the other? It will not results to acceptance of one offer by the other. It will results to an agreement or it will results to a contract. The best answer is it do not amounts to the acceptance of one offer by the other. Am I clear with this? Tell me. Great. Now, next question. Question number 10. An offer which can be accepted by anyone. That means a kind of an offer which can be accepted by anyone, a kind of an offer in which the offeree's name is not stated. It is a kind of an offer which can be accepted by anyone by fulfilling the conditions of the offer. Such kind of an offer is called as the specific, standing, cross or general. Simple है बहुत ही ज़्यादा. It is a kind of a general offer. When I talk about like Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Balls and Company, then this question is going to be come into the picture. An offer which can be accepted by anyone, a kind of an offer in which the name of the offeree is not mentioned, and anybody who comes into the knowledge of the offer can accept this particular offer. Next is your question number 11. A counter offer amounts to, results in. Amounts to matlab what? Amounts means results in. A counter offer results in the rejection of the original offer, acceptance of the original offer, or none of these. Tell me what is the correct option. Now remember one thing. We have read about so many circumstances of the lapse of offer. Offer get lapsed in many of the cases. There are many cases like maybe because of the rejection, because of the death or the inability of the offerer or the offeree. And one of the most important reason of the lapse of offer is the counter offer. So if a person is giving an offer to the second person and the second person, instead of accepting it, with added some conditions, modify some conditions, and then gives the acceptance. Such kind of an acceptance is the qualified acceptance, which is also called as the counter offer. As we all know, the rule of the acceptance is acceptance should be unconditional, it should be unqualified. If you are giving the acceptance, if the offeree is giving the acceptance by adding or by subtracting any of the conditions of the offer, such kind of an acceptance given would be considered as a counter offer, which will lead to lapse of the original offer. So there is a rejection of the original offer. Next is your question number 12. Now, question number 12 is, see, boarding the bus in a route to carry passenger. Boarding the bus which is running in a route. That means it is running in a route to carry the passengers. Tell me what kind of an acceptance it is. मैम क्रॉस ऑफर में डेट के साथ प्राइस भी सेम होना कंपलसरी है? नो। क्रॉस ऑफर में श्याम कुमार मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं कि मैम क्रॉस ऑफर में क्या प्राइस सेम होना जरूरी है? देखो, क्रॉस ऑफर एक ऐसा ऑफर होता है जो सेम टाइम पर सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर के लिए और सेम पार्टीज, यानी कि तीन चीजें जो हैं वो सिमिलर होती है। पार्टीज आपकी सेम होती हैं, वो आपस में जो डील कर रहे हैं वो डीलिंग सेम होती है, और ऊपर से जो टाइम होता है ना, वो टाइम भी आप लोगों का सिमिलर होता है। See, as for example, I'll give a short example of it. See, X ने ऑफर दिया, X offers to Y that he wants to sell the car, right? X offers Y to sell the car at the rate of say 80,000 rupees. And this offer is being given on 2nd of the April 2024. On the same date, one more letter has been drafted by Y addressing it to X, in which he is giving the offer to buy the same car at the rate of say 90,000. This is the cross offer. But as for example, instead of car, on the same date, instead of car, if Y gives an offer to X to buy the bike of X, then this is definitely not a cross offer. Here are two offers involved in which X wants to sell his car, right? And there is the second offer in which Y wants to buy the bike of Mr. X. So they are totally separate. It will not be considered as the cross offer. Am I clear with this? Now, let's get back to the main point. That is question number 12. So now when I am talking about question number 12, boarding the bus which is running in a route to carry the passengers. If you're boarding the bus which is going in a specific route to carry the passengers, that kind of boarding will be considered as an implied acceptance. ये तो बहुत simple है, right? Question number 13. Specific terms and conditions of an offer must be communicated before the acceptance of the offer, after the acceptance of the offer, or none of these. So this is the particular concept which is not a part of the CMA syllabus, but still for the chartered accountant students and for the company secretary students, you must have heard about these things. And there is also a case study of the dry cleaners and companies. Specific terms and conditions of any particular offer must be communicated before the acceptance of the offer. Next is your question number 14. If the counter offer is not accepted, the original offer can be accepted, cannot be accepted. See, counter offer, whether it got accepted or it got rejected, in any case, the original offer cannot be get accepted. Why? Because there is an original offer, then comes a counter offer. With the coming of the counter offer, the original offer has now become lapsed. So not in any case you can, accept the original offer because it has already been lapsed. So the original offer cannot be accepted. Next is your question number 15. Acceptance of an offer can be communicated by any person or by the offeree or the person having the authority to accept the offer only, or none of these. Question number 15 is quite simple one. Definitely an offer which is given to an offeree can be accepted by offeree or his mercantile agent only. So if the acceptance is being given by the offeree, that can be communicated, that can be shared only by the offeree or the persons having the authority to accept the offer. Bilkul correct. Sanya, Shyam, Dipesh, Vishal, Gaurav, Sabarjeet, Suhana, correct. Now, question number 16. We have done with the question number 15 also. 16. Acceptance of an offer can be communicated to the offerer or his authorized agent only. Any person, none of this. It's very simple. If there is if there is going to be a contract between the two persons, the communication should be held between these two persons only. With respect to the communication, we have got like 2-3 sections. First of all, we have got section number 3, which is talking about the communication of offer and acceptance, which is based on the intentions of the parties. But if the intentions of the parties are not clear, then there are some specific rules which are mentioned under section number 4, which clearly states that how the communication of offer is supposed to be made, how the communication of acceptance is supposed to be made. Correct? So the acceptance of an offer can be communicated to the offerer only or his authorized agent. It cannot be accepted by any person. You cannot say this, okay, fine, it can be accepted by any person. No, it is not like that. It should be given to the offerer or his authorized agent only. Next, question number 17. Communication of offer is complete. So now there are some specific rules. I hope you guys must remember, must have some kind of a thought or a I'll just show the. Would you like to see the rules? Guys, would you like to see the rules of the communication? Tell me. Communication of offer and acceptance. Communication of offer and acceptance. Here are some rules. Communication of offer is complete once the offer comes to the knowledge of the offeree. In case the offer is sent by the post, communication of offer is complete once the letter of offer reaches the offeree. Please do revise them because for the next like 5 or 10 questions are going to be on this particular topic only. And communication of acceptance is a kind of an acceptance which will bind both the parties, but at a different stages. It will bind the offerer, the acceptance will bind the offerer when the communication of acceptance is complete and it has been put into the course of the transmission. In case the communication of acceptance is being done by the post, then that acceptance will become binding on the offerer once the letter of acceptance has been posted by the offeree. Now, communication of acceptance is something which also binds the offeree, but at a different stage. At what stage? Communication of acceptance is complete once the acceptance comes to the knowledge of the offerer. Remember or not? But when we are talking about in the case the acceptance is sent by the post, it is complete once the letter of acceptance reaches the offer. Revision हो गया proper, right? Now, have a look. Communication of offer is complete when the properly addressed and stamped letter of offer is duly posted by the offerer. It is duly posted by the posting is important or not. It comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made and none of these. Tell me, what is going to be the answer for the question number 17? Everyone has almost answered it. It comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. Next is question number 18. Communication of acceptance is complete as against the proposer. Proposer means what? The person who has made the offer. From his point of view, the communication of acceptance is going to be complete. That means the contract is going to be binding now on the offerer. When is that particular situation is going to come? When the acceptance is put into the course of the transmission to him so as to be out of the power of the acceptor. Correct? It's quite simple because it's like you are just choosing the correct formula. Question number 19. Communication of acceptance is complete as against the acceptor. Communication of acceptance is complete as against the acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. There is nothing to explain about all these questions like question number 15, 16, 17, and 18 and 19, because all these questions are totally based on the formula which we have already covered in our ICA chapter. So this is quite simple, quite direct question. It is a kind of a direct question. Now question number 20. An offer can be revoked at any time before its acceptance. Tell me. An offer can be revoked at any time before its acceptance is complete. You can revoke the offer. Who has given the offer? The offerer. Now he can revoke the offer only and only until then the communication of acceptance becomes binding on him, right? It becomes binding on him. So it is definitely an offerer. An offer can be revoked at any time before its acceptance is complete as against the offerer. Question number 21. An acceptance can be revoked at any time before its communication is complete as against the offeree. It is as simple as that. These are the direct questions. I hope there is no problem in it. Next is your question number 22. An offer automatically lapses by the death or the insanity. Offer will now become lapsed. Lapsed means what? It will comes to an end by the death or the insanity of the offerer, even if the offer is accepted in ignorance of the death. No, now it is not lapsed. Offeree, if the offeree dies or becomes insane before accepting the offer, if the offeree or the offerer dies after the acceptance of the offer, after the formation of the acceptance of offer means what? Formation of a contract. So if after the formation of the contract any of the party dies, then there may be a circumstances that the offerer, that the contract will now become a void contract. It will now become a void contract. But the offer has still yet not been accepted by any of the parties, by the offeree. Now, before the acceptance of the offer, if any of the parties dies, then it will not be considered as a void, contract. It will be considered as a lapse of the offer. So, which one is the correct option for it? The offeree, if the offeree dies or becomes insane before accepting the offer. Let's read it again. It's important. An offer automatically lapsed by the death or the insanity of the offeree if the offeree dies or becomes insane before accepting the offer. If he dies or becomes insane after accepting the offer, then the status of that contract would be a void contract. Am I clear with this? I hope there are no doubts. Now, question number 23. A specific offer can be accepted by any person, any friend of offerer, by the person to whom it is made, by any friend of the offeree. No, it is not like that. The correct option is option number C, by the person to whom it is made. Next is question number 24. An offer is made to Mr. X in a crowd. There is a crowd, right? But still in that particular crowd an offer has been made specifically to Mr. X. Now tell me, can anybody accept the offer or only Mr. X can accept the offer? Tell me, can be accepted by him alone, may be accepted by any person who hears it, may be accepted by his brother, may be accepted by his friend. The correct option is, ma'am, it is an accepted offer. It is an express offer. It is a specific offer and it can be accepted by only that specific person only. Am I clear? Next is question number 25. I hope there is no doubt. Guys, tell me. Question number 25. An advertisement to sell a thing by auction. That means there will be an auction. Auction is itself an invitation to an offer. I hope you all know that. Auction is itself to an offer. It is a kind of an invitation to an offer. Correct? Now, if an advertisement is given to sell a thing by auction, if an advertisement is given to sell a thing by auction, is it an offer? It is an invitation. no offer at all, a contract or an obligation? Tell me. 25 का correct option क्या होगा? Tell me. What is going to be the correct option for question number 25? The correct option is there is no offer at all. अगर यहाँ पर दिया गया होता अ मेयर स्टेटमेंट शोइंग द इंटेंशन, तो हम डेफिनेटली उसी को पिक करते, उसी को चूज करते, उसी को सेलेक्ट करते. करेक्ट. नेक्स्ट इज योर क्वेश्चन नंबर 26. देर इज अ काउंटर ऑफर. देर इज अ काउंटर ऑफर when the offeree gives conditional acceptance or introduces a fresh term in the acceptance. The offerer makes a fresh offer, the offeree makes some query, the offeree accepts it. Simple है. If an offer is as it is being accepted by the offeree, then there is a contract. If it is rejected by the offeree, then there is no contract. And if the offer which is made by the offerer is conditionally accepted by the offeree, then also it is not a contract. It is a counter offer that will lead to lapse of the original offer. Acceptance to be considered valid in the eyes of the law must be unconditional, unqualified. A conditional acceptance would amount to counter offer. It will result into counter offer, which will further result into the lapse of the original offer. Correct? So the offeree gives conditional acceptance or introduces a fresh term in the acceptance. Next is your question number 27. An acceptance is not according to the mode prescribed, but the offerer decides to keep quiet. Now, in such a case, is there going to be a contract? Is there going to be no contract, avoidable contract, and unenforceable contract? Tell me. See, when we are reading the rules with respect to the acceptance, there are many rules. The number one rule is that the unconditional acceptance should be unconditional, unqualified, right? Second rule is that the acceptance, should be given in a prescribed mode only. And if there is no prescribed role, mode, then it should be given in a reasonable mode. Correct? Now, if the acceptance is given but not in the prescribed mode, then it is the duty of the offerer to state this, clearly to the offeree that though you have given me the acceptance, but still I'm not accepting it. The offerer is supposed to refuse or reject the acceptance which is being given by the offeree in the unauthorized or the unprescribed mode. So in this case, if he refused to do something like that, then there is a contract. There is a contract, right? Next is your question number 27. I hope the thought is completely, the concept is clear to everyone. If it is not, then please do let me know. An acceptance may be revoked by the acceptor. An acceptance it can be revoked by the acceptor, but till what time? At any time before the letter of acceptance reaches the offerer? Tell me. Or the after the letter of acceptance reaches the offerer? Before the death of the offerer? Which one is the correct option? After or before? Before the letter of acceptance reaches the offerer. Because once the letter of acceptance reaches the offerer, the contract will now become binding for the offeree also, and then he cannot revoke it. He cannot revoke the acceptance now. Correct? Next is your question number 29. A letter of acceptance sufficiently stamped and duly addressed is put into the course of the transmission. It is a letter of acceptance. So there is a contract voidable at the option of the acceptor. See, first of all, this particular letter will not become a contract just by putting it into the course of the transmission. A letter which has been sufficiently stamped and duly addressed and which has been put into the course of the transmission, this particular letter is a contract only for the offerer, because now the offerer is bound to fulfill the contract. But still, it is not a complete contract. Why? Because this letter, once it reaches to the offerer, then only it will become binding on the offeree. So until it becomes binding on the offeree, it is not a proper contract. It is not a proper contract, correct? So question number 29 is required to be read again. A letter of acceptance which is sufficiently stamped and duly addressed is put into the course of the transmission. So there is a contract voidable at the option of the acceptor. This is not the correct option. It is not a contract at all. It will become contract when this letter would become binding on both the parties. Correct? So the correct option is it is not a contract at all. Am I clear with this? Wonderful. Now, question number 30. Which one of the following results in an offer? Tell me. A declaration of intention, a declaration of intention, an invitation to offer, an advertisement offering the reward to anyone who finds the lost dog of the advertiser, an offer which is made in a joke. The correct option is definitely an advertisement offering the reward to anyone. Tell me what kind of an offer is it? In question number 30, the correct option is C. But tell me what kind of an offer is it? Answer me. What kind of an offer is it? करो जल्दी जल्दी मैसेज. Now, question number 31. X, definitely. बिल्कुल करेक्ट. यशस्वी, विशाल, गौरव, कानूनी, सबरजीत, कानूनी बातें. Okay, this is Ata, right? Dipesh, Suhana, you guys are completely correct. Now, question number 31. Please have a look. X makes an offer to Y on 20th by a letter which reaches Y on 22nd. Y posts the letter of the acceptance on 24th, which reaches the X on 27th. So usually we have got 4 dates with us. If we are, making the offer via letter, if we are giving the acceptance via letter, usually we have got 4 dates with us. In the case of the letter of offer, there is one date of dispatching the letter and there is one date of reaching that letter to the offer. Now, when we are giving the acceptance, the letter of acceptance has to be dispatched definitely. So there is a date of dispatching of the letter of acceptance and there is a date of receiving that letter of acceptance by the offerer. So definitely when we are talking about the contract which is being formed by the posting of the letters, it will definitely involve 4 type of dates, correct? So X makes an offer to Y on 20th by letter. That is the date of dispatching of the offer of letter, which reaches Y on 22nd. That is the date of reaching of the letter to the offeree. Now, Y, who is the offeree, now posted the letter of the acceptance on 24th. That is the date of posting of the letter of acceptance, and it is going to reach X on 27th. That is the date of exactly the date on which the offerer will get to know about the letter of the acceptance. The communication of acceptance is complete as against Y. Now, who is Y in this situation? Y is the offeree who has now become the acceptor, and for the acceptor, the contract will become binding once his letter of acceptance reaches the offeree. So letter of acceptance is now going to reach X on 27th. So tell me, when it is going to be binding for the Y? For the Y, it is going to be binding on 27th. Correct? Next is question number 32. On the face of the ticket for a journey, the words for condition seek back are printed in the small print. The passenger is bound by the conditions, whether he takes care to read them or not, is not bound by the condition, may not take note of the condition, none of the above. See, definitely, this is the kind of a question which is not covered for the CMA students, but for the CA and the CS students, you guys must have read about this, that any kind of a ticket which you guys are purchasing, whether it is a railway ticket, airplane ticket, or a bus ticket, if the terms and conditions are being mentioned behind the tickets, then somehow Somehow the passenger is bound by the conditions whether he takes care to read them or not. Next is question number 33. When the offeree offers to qualified acceptance. Qualified acceptance means what? Qualified acceptance means conditional acceptance. Qualified acceptance means what? Conditional acceptance. Conditional acceptance. Now, have a look. When the offeree offers to the conditional acceptance of the offer subject to the modifications and variation, he is said to have made a counter offer. This is a clear cut and a direct question. Question number 34. Standing offer means what? An offer which is allowed to remain open for acceptance over a period of time. Offer which is made to the public in journal. When the offeree offers to qualified acceptance of the offer, offer which is made to a definite person. Tell me. For question number 34, which one is the correct option? Question number 34. For the 34, correct Suhana, correct Vishal. The offer which is allowed to remain open for acceptance over a period of time, such kind of an offer is called as the standing offer. Now, question number 35. When an offer is made to a definite person, it is known as, when an offer which is made to a definite person, to a specific person, and it can be definitely accepted by that definite person only. Tell me, is it a kind of a general offer, क्रॉस ऑफर, काउंटर ऑफर और स्पेसिफिक? स्पेशल नहीं, इसे हम कहेंगे स्पेसिफिक ऑफर. द करेक्ट आंसर इज डी, स्पेसिफिक ऑफर. करेक्ट सानिया. Question number 36. An agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of one or more of the parties thereto, but not at the option of the other or the others. Tell me what kind of an agreement is it is. It is called as the voidable contract. It's a direct question, correct? Because voidable contract is a kind of a contract in which one of the parties is being given the option to either consider it valid or to make it a void contract. And this option is usually being given to the weaker party on whom any kind of a force like coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation has been exercised. So the correct option is the voidable contract. Next is your question number 37. Which one of the following is false? So you guys have got four statements with you. Out of these four statements, three are the correct statements and the one of them is the false. An acceptance must be communicated. This is true. Acceptance must be absolute and unconditional. This is also true. It must be accepted by the person having the authority to accept, right? It may be presumed from silence of the offeree. Silence does not amount to acceptance until and unless there are some other special circumstances. See, whenever you are reading, whenever you are understanding the law, do remember one thing. In every situation, first you have to apply the general law. Like the general law is like, any agreement with a minor is void ab initio. But there is an exception which states that any kind of a contract which is for the benefit of the minor will be binding on all the parties. Correct? One more example. Any kind of a contract without consideration is not a valid contract. No consideration, no contract. This is the general rule. Correct? But now when I am talking about the exception, there are some circumstances where the promise is being given and there is no consideration in return. Still, those promises would be binding on the parties, like the agreements which are formed out of natural love and affection, gifts, charity, voluntarily agreement to compensate for the past voluntary services. All these kind of the promises are enforceable even if there is no consideration involved in it. So whenever you are answering the question, first of all, keep this in your mind, that you have to focus on the general rule and then only you have to focus. After that only you may consider the exceptions. Next is your question number 38. An offer may lapse by revocation, counter offer, rejection of offer by the offeree, or all of these. Tell me. Question number 38. The correct option is offer can be lapsed by revocation. Revocation means that the offerer is taking his offer back. Counter offer is offeree is stating the conditional acceptance, correct? And rejection is clear that the offeree is declining the offer which is given by the offerer. So all these three options are actually the options which may lead to lapse of the offer. So the correct option would be all of these. Question number 39. In case of illegal agreements, the collateral agreements are valid? Not at all. Voidable? Not at all. They are also considered as void. Now, next, question number 40. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise, contract, offer, or the acceptance. See, there is a proposal and then there comes an acceptance. A proposal, once accepted, definitely becomes a promise. For question number 40, tell me, what is the correct option? It will become a promise. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. Okay. Question number 41. An implied contract, even if it is not in writing or expressed in the words, is perfectly dash if other conditions are satisfied. Tell me, for question number 41. Correct. It is completely valid even if the other conditions are satisfied. Question number 42. Let me change the color. Question number 42. A void agreement is one which is valid but not enforceable. It is enforceable at the option of both the parties. Enforceable at the option of one party. It is not enforceable in the court of law. Tell me, what kind of a void agreement is? Void agreement means a kind of an agreement which is void from the very beginning, whether it is known to the parties or whether it is not known to the parties. So can it any point of time it become valid? No. So it cannot be valid but not enforceable, right? Enforceable at the option of both the parties or one of the parties. The correct option is it is not enforceable in the court of the law. Next is question number 43. An agreement which is enforceable by law, an agreement which is enforceable by law. Tell me the correct option for question number 43. Ma'am, definitely it is a contract. It's just like a definition. Section number 2, clause H. 44. A voidable contract is one which can be enforced at the option of the aggrieved party, can be enforced at the option of both the parties, cannot be enforced in the court of law, or courts prohibit. Tell me. For question number 44, the correct option is it can be enforced at the option of the aggrieved party. Okay, tell me one thing. If aggrieved party does not chooses any option, usually, in a voidable contract, the aggrieved party decides whether it will make it a valid contract or a void contract. But if the aggrieved parties does not chooses any kind of an option, then what is going to be the status of that voidable contract if no action has been taken? Tell me. Guys, please do like the video also. If you guys are liking this lecture, tell me, Sanya is completely correct. It will become a valid contract. Now, question number 45 on the acceptance of an offer by a offeree. On an acceptance of an offer by an offeree, only the acceptor becomes bound by accepting the offer. Only the offerer becomes bound as his terms are accepted. Both the acceptor and the offeree becomes bound by the contract, or none of these. Which one is the correct option? For 45C, both the correct, Sanya. both the acceptor and the offeree becomes bound by the contract, because acceptance of a proposal will definitely leads to a legal obligation. It will be considered that the contractual relationship between the parties have arisen. Next is question number 46. Which of the following statement is true? An agreement which is enforceable by law is a contract. It's a true statement. An agreement is an accepted proposal. It is also a true statement. Both A and B, none of these. The correct option is C. Question number 47. Which one of the following is not a legal requirement of a valid offer? So if you want a valid offer, there are certain requirements to have it, right? Like there should be a certainty of the meaning, it should be properly communicated, it should be made to the other person, it should not be confused with the invitation to an offer and a mere statement showing the intentions. So all these requirements are there, right? Offer can be positive, it can be negative, a statement which is made jokingly is not an offer. So there are certain requirements to have a valid offer. We need to select all of them or one of them. We need to choose the right one. It must be communicated to the other party. It must have a clear and a definite terms. It must be made specific to a person and not public at large. And it must be express offers or express offerers final willingness. So here the question is, which one of the following is not the legal requirement? Question number 47. Please answer it. Which one of the following is not the legal requirement? Tell me. Very good, Sanya. The correct option is it must be made specific to the person and not public at large. It is not the requirement of the valid offer, because an offer is totally valid if it is made to a specific offer, a specific person, and also it is completely valid if it is made to a general public, to the public at large. Correct? That is also accepted in the eyes of the law. Question number 48. Which one of the following is not the legal requirement of the valid acceptance? It must be communicated by, this is the requirement of the valid acceptance. It must be presumed from silence if not communicated within the specific time. This is not the requirement. It must be absolute and unconditional. This is the requirement of a valid acceptance. It must be accepted by the person who has the authority to accept. So tell me, with respect to question number 48, Sanya is so fast. Very good, Sanya. Yashashvi. So it must be presumed from the silence if not communicated within the specified time. This is not the requirement of a valid acceptance, right? So question number 49. Question number 49. X by a letter dated 4th January offers to sell his house to Y for rupees 20 lakhs. So there are two parties, X and Y, in which X is playing the role of the offerer, and he made an offer to Y on 4th of the January for 20. He wants to sell his house for 20 lakhs rupees. The letter reaches Y on 6th of the Jan. That means the letter of offer has been dispatched on 4th Jan. It reaches the offeree on 6th Jan, who posts his acceptance on 7th Jan, which reaches X on 9th Jan. As I told you, whenever there is going to be a contract to buy a letter, then in that case, definitely minimum there are going to be 4 dates. One is the date of the what dispatching the letter, and the other is of receiving the letter by both the parties. Correct? So the question is, the communication of offer is complete. Tell me when the communication of offer is going to be complete. It is going to be complete when the letter of offer reaches the offeree. When it has reached to the offeree, tell me. It has reached on 6th of Jan. So 49th का correct answer क्या है? 49th का correct answer क्या है? Very good, Sanya, Dipesh, Sohana, 6th of Jan. Question number 50. In the above question, the communication of acceptance is complete against X on 7th Jan and against Y. For the Y, the communication of acceptance will get completed on 9th of the January when the letter of acceptance reaches the offerer. Now, the next question. Correct, Sanya, Yashashvi, Vishal, very good. X of Kolkata. Now, the next question is, Please have a look. X of Kolkata sends a letter to Y of Mumbai offering to sell his car for 4 lakhs. That means there are two parties. One is living in Kolkata, the other one is living in Mumbai. They are going to deal in a car at the rate of 4 lakhs rupees. X is going to be what? The seller, and Y is going to be the offeree or the buyer. The letter is posted on 1st of the Feb and it reaches Y on 5th of the Feb. That means we have got 4 dates with us, 1st Feb and 5th Feb. Y sends his acceptance by post on 9th of the February, but X receives the letter of acceptance on 13th of the February. Now, there are going to be the series of questions, and what are they going to be? See, question number 51. When is the communication of offer will complete? Communication of offer, if it is given via letter, will get completed once the letter of offer reaches the offeree. Correct? So, what is going to be the option? Option B. Correct. 51B. Very good, Vishal, Dipesh, Tanya, Suhana, Sabarjeet. Question number 52. When is the communication of acceptance complete as against the acceptor? Tell me. The correct option for 52 is 13th Feb. Next is question number 53. If X sends a telegram on 6th of the February, so the letter has been posted on the 1st of the Feb, giving or stating the offer to sell the house at the rate of rupees 4 lakhs, but after giving the letter of the offer, before it reaches, it will reach on 5th of the Feb, but somehow X changed his mind and X sends a telegram on 6th of the Feb revoking his offer. Tell me, first of all, tell me exactly what is the date when the contract will become binding for the X. See, X is actually playing the role of the offerer, correct? X is playing the role of the offerer, and for the offerer, the contract will become binding if the offeree has dispatched the letter of acceptance, correct? And what is that date? That is 9th of the February. So he can definitely revoke his offer by using a speedier mode of communication like telegram. So if X sends a telegram on 6th Feb revoking his offer, his telegram reaches Y before the letter of acceptance is posted. Is this revocation valid? Definitely it is valid. Section 53, question number 53, option A. Now, 54. If Y sends a telegram on 12th of the February, see, Y gave the acceptance. Y gave the acceptance on 9th of the February and it is going to reach the offerer on 13th of the February. But after giving the acceptance on 9th of the February, immediately on 12th of the February, Y delivered a telegram, right? So Y sends a telegram on 12th of the February revoking his acceptance, and his telegram reaches X before the letter of acceptance is received by the Y. Is the revocation of acceptance valid? Definitely it is valid. Why? Because the reason is why the acceptor is still not bound. He will become, a binding party to the contract on 13th. But before 13th, on 12th of February, he revoked his acceptance, and that revocation of acceptance is completely valid in the eyes of the law. So here is the option number A for question number 54. Okay, guys, uh, we have already completed, it's 1 hour now almost, and we have almost completed more than 50 questions today. We have almost completed 54 questions. Let me see how many questions are left. There are still some questions. There are only 5 or 6 questions are left. Then we can start with the next chapter tomorrow, right? So let's complete all these questions. Question number 55. Please have a look. You guys are okay with this? True? Correct or not? Tell me. Do you have any other plans? Do you have any other lecture? Should I stop here? It is going to take another 5 minutes to complete all the remaining questions of this unit. It will not take a lot of your time. हाँ दीपेश, डाउट हम इसके बाद ले लेंगे पक्का. Now, question number 55. Which one of the following offers do not constitute a valid offer. Which one of the following offers do not constitute a valid offer? An auctioneer displays a mobile set before a gathering in an auction sale. Mr. X, who is in the possession of three cars purchased in different years, says, I will sell you a car. X says to Y, will you purchase my motorcycle for 40,000 rupees? And Y communicates to X that he will sell his car for rupees 2 lakhs. So, आपके पास there are four situations. Out of these four situations, you guys have been asked to tell us about the two situations or the two circumstances or the two statements which does not constitute a valid offer. Tell me. The answer for question number 55 is what? 55 का आंसर जल्दी से बताइए. इन चारों में से कौन सी ऐसी स्टेटमेंट है जो वैलिड ऑफर नहीं बना रही? See, question option number one, an auctioneer which who displays a mobile set before a gathering in an auction sale. It is not an offer. It is not an offer at all. Correct? Mr. X, who is in the possession of three cars purchased in different years, says, I will sell you a car. There is an uncertainty because there is no surety about which about which car he is actually talking about. So this is also not a valid offer. So when I'm talking about question number 55, the correct option, the statements which are not offer, statements which are not a valid offer, the correct option is A. I don't know why you guys have, chosen option number D. Fourth statement is clearly states that X communicates to Y, and that is absolutely fine. An offer is made by a communication, right? X communicates to Y. He hasn't forced to Y. He is just making an offer that I will sell his car for rupees 2 lakhs rupees. I will sell my car to you for 2 lakhs rupees. Tell me whether you would like to purchase it or not. It is a kind of an offer. Option number three, X says to Y, will you purchase my motorcycle for rupees 40,000? There is a certainty. There is a kind of a question. So option number three and four, they are completely valid offer. When we are talking about the invalid statement, please just don't follow the answers which are being given. Use your brain. There is no point. There is no point if you are copying the answers from the answer book or from the answers which I have already given to you all. It is not going to be beneficial for you all. Use your own brain. So in this question number 55, everyone has given the wrong, option except this Kanuni Bate and Sabarjeet. The correct option is 55A. Which one of the following offers do not constitute, do not. Next is question number 56. Which one of the following is or are the essential elements of the valid offer? Which one of the following is or are the essential elements of valid offer? Offerer must have an intention to be bound by his offer. Offer must be made to a specific person and not to the public at large. No, it is not valid. Second point is not valid. It is not the essential. It can be made to the public at large also. Correct? Offer must be definite. Offer can be vague. So, out of these four statements, which one is the correct statement? Out of these four statements, which one of these two, which one of the two statements are the actually essentials of a valid offer? That is option number one. It should be the offerer's intention should be there that he wants to be bound by his offer. If it is just a mere statement or a statement which is made jokingly, then definitely he is not willing to bound himself also, right? And it should be definite. So answer is what? 1 and 3, option number A. Am I clear with everyone? Tell me. Yashashvi, how it going to be B? It is not going to be B. Sabarjeet. They are asking what are the essentials of the valid offer. Offer can be vague. This is not the essential requirement. Offer must be made to the specific person only. No, it is not the essential. Offer can be made to public at large also. So point number 2 and 4 is not the essentials of the valid offer. Out of these four statements, we have to choose two statements which can be considered as the essential of the valid offer. Am I clear with this? Tell me. Next, question number 57. Tender for supply of goods is an offer which is allowed to remain open for acceptance over a period of time. Such offers are, tell me, simple air, standing offer. Question number 58. When the offer, when the offeree offers to qualified acceptance of the offer subject to modifications and variation, he is said to have made what? Ma'am, this is also very simple. It is a kind of a counter offer. Next is question number 59. Correct? A proposal may be revoked in the following ways. I'm sorry to say this, but ये मैंने थोड़ा जल्दी करा दिया because 57, 58 and 59 आपके almost एकदम direct questions है. So 59, a proposal may be revoked in the following ways: by the notice of revocation, by the lapse of time, by the death or the insanity, or all of the above. Tell me. Yes, a proposal or an offer can be revoked by any of them. That means almost all of the above. Question number 60. A proposes by letter to sell a house to B at a certain price. A revokes his proposal by telegram. The revocation is complete as against the B, section number 5. When a revocation is going to be complete for the other party, it is going to be completed, with respect to the other party when it comes to the knowledge of that person. Correct? A writes the telegram, but the same has not been sent to the B. A dispatches the telegram. B receives the telegram. This is the correct option. Section number 5. 61. An offer may lapse by revocation, counter offer, rejection of offer by the offeree. This is a direct question. 61. The correct option is D. An offer can be lapsed by revocation of the offer by the offerer, or by making of the qualified acceptance by the offeree, or by the rejection of the offer by the offeree. Now, question number 62. Mr. X invited all his close friends for a dinner on the occasion of the successful completion of his research. It seems to be a social agreement. Seems to be, but we will read it again. Mr. X invited all his close friends for a dinner on the occasion of the successful completion of his research. He wanted to take good care of his friends and accordingly arranged a very lavish dinner in a star hotel. On the day, to his shock and surprise, the friends could not turn up to the dinner. Consequently, all the dishes and the money were wasted. Now, he was terribly disappointed in the above situation. Which of the following remedy is or are available to Mr. X for the loss which is caused to him? Tell me, is there any remedy available to him? Clearly not, because it is a kind of a social invitation. Social invitations are not binding on the parties, and hence there won't be any kind of a remedy available. But still, we have to read the options. As per the option number A, X can file a suit against his friend for not attending the dinner. No, it cannot be the case. B option is X cannot have any remedy. So the correct option is B, because social invitations are not binding on the parties at all. Mr. X can recover the expenses incurred for the arrangement from his friend. No. Mr. X can file a suit for the special damages. No. So the correct option is B. Next is question number 63. An auctioneer in Delhi advertised in a newspaper that a sale of office furniture would be held on 4th Jan. A broker came from Chennai. Okay, I'm so sorry. There has to be a full stop after 4th Jan. It has to be like this. A broker came from Chennai to attend the auction, but all the furniture was withdrawn. So, see, listen to me one thing very clearly. Normally, an offer which is made can also be revoked. Now, if you haven't made the offer, it is just an invitation to an offer, then definitely you can revoke that also, na? There is no foundation on it. Foundation will not arise on the parties until and unless they both have, consented They both, the offerer has accepted and the acceptor has also accepted the offer which is given by the offerer. Now read it again. An auctioneer in Delhi advertised in a newspaper that a sale of office furniture would be held on 4th of the January. Now, a broker came from Chennai to attend the auction, but all the furniture was withdrawn. The broker from the Chennai sued the auctioneer for loss of his time and expenses. Which one of the following statement is the correct statement? The broker can get the damages from the auctioneer for loss of his time and expenses. The broker will not get the damages from the auctioneer for the loss of his time and expenses. An invitation to make an offer is a valid offer, or a declaration of intention by a person will give right of action to another. Question number 63. The correct option is A. A. No. Sanya, how can a broker who came from Chennai to attend an auction can receive any kind of a damages? He cannot receive any kind of a damages. The correct option cannot be A, because there is no foundation. Foundation will be there when an offer has been accepted. Once an offer becomes is accepted by the offeree, then there will be a contract, then there will be a legal obligation, then there will be a foundation. Before that, it is not going to be a foundation for anybody, not even an offerer, not even an offeree, right? So the broker will not get the damages from the auctioneer for the loss of his time and expenses. Am I clear with this? Question number 64. Arun has had deposited a bag in the clock room of a railway station. So there are clock rooms in the railway platforms, in the railway stations, right? By paying rupees 650. On the face of the ticket, which is issued to him, were inscribed see reverse for the terms and the conditions. So there is a ticket which Arun received in return while he deposited his bag in the clock room on the locker area of the railway station, and on the ticket it has been written that please just turn it on and just have a reading on it. So clause 10 of the printed terms and conditions limited the liability of the company for loss of the baggage of rupees 100. The bag was lost and Arun claimed 650 as its value. Now tell me. First of all, whether you have read the terms and conditions or not, if you have the excess of the terms and conditions, if they are clearly mentioned somewhere on the ticket or on the back side of the tickets, then the parties are bound by the terms and the conditions. Railway authorities have clearly stated that in the case of any loss of your baggage or your bags or your stuff, we will only bear the liability of rupees 100. So please make sure don't deposit, heavy jewelries, or don't deposit any heavy, kind of a material, or any heavy or expensive material in the clockroom. So here the Arun is not, tell me, what is going to be the correct option for it? Is the Arun going to be bound by the terms and the condition? The answer is Arun was bound by the conditions on the back of the ticket, even if he had not read them. So, in the case of loss of his bag, he can only claim rupees 100 because it was already mentioned on the tickets. Correct. Congratulations, guys. We are done with all the MCQs of offer and acceptance. Tomorrow we will start a new chapter MCQ on the topic called capacity of parties. We'll start a lecture on it. Thank you so much, everyone. Now you guys can ask your doubts if you have any. 5 मिनट है आप लोगों के पास, अपने डाउट्स आप पूछ सकते हैं, और प्लीज स्ट्रेस मत लीजिएगा. डाउट्स के लिए हम लोग एक अलग सेशन भी कंडक्ट करवा लेंगे. आप लोग अपने सारे डाउट्स इकट्ठे कर लो एंड देन वी कैन वर्क ऑन इट. हाँ जी दीपेश बोलिए. You're most welcome, Suhana, Gaurav, Sanya. Guys, please do share these videos in your Telegram groups and your WhatsApp groups also. You're most welcome, Sabarjeet, Yashashvi. दीपेश जल्दी से बता बेटा, डाउट क्या है? यूनिट 1 का 14, 17 एंड 18 डिफरेंसेस। यूनिट 1 क्वेश्चंस की बात कर रहे हो ना तुम? 14, let me get this for you. 14th, a contract where both the parties have fulfilled their respective obligations is called as the executed contract. इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? गौरव, ये तेरा वाला नेक्स्ट क्लास में पक्का। A contract where both the parties have fulfilled their respective obligations, it is called as the executed contract. Execution means the performance of the contract. And if both the parties have performed the contract, it is called as the executed contract. Do remember one thing, in the English language, whenever these two suffix are used, ed, that means the work has already been done. Okay, next is question number 17. A contract in which both the parties have to perform the promise. When we are talking about the executory contracts, right, there we are understanding the concept as in the timing of the performance. If it has been performed by both the parties at the same time, it is executed contract. If it has been performed by one of the parties, then it is partly. And if it is not performed by any of them, then it is what? Executory contract, right? Liability is on both the parties, but they are performing at a different stages. But when we are talking about types of contract on the basis of liability, here we are understanding whether both the parties are having the liability or not. Correct? So bilateral, bi means two, lateral means side. Bi means two and lateral means side. A kind of a contract which is required to be performed by both the parties. Normally सेल परचेज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स होते हैं, सर्विसेज के होते हैं, तो वो बोथ पार्टीज ही तो आपकी परफॉर्म करती है ना। एक पार्टी गुड्स देती है, दूसरी पार्टी आपको प्राइसेस पे कर देती है। यूनिलेटरल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी होते हैं, जस्ट लाइक क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स। रिमेंबर? नाउ क्वेश्चन नंबर 18, a contract which is inferred from the conduct of the parties. अरे भाई, एक ऐसा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो साइलेंट होता है। टेसिट का मतलब क्या होता है? साइलेंस। सिंपल मतलब है कि वर्ड्स का इस्तेमाल नहीं किया गया, पार्टीज के बिहेवियर से या फिर सर्कमस्टांसेस की वजह से जो अराइज हो जाए, दैट काइंड ऑफ अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज कॉल्ड एज द टेसिट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। आई होप आई एम क्लियर विद यू दीपेश नाउ। चलिए गाइस, नाउ आई हैव टू एंड द लेक्चर। आज वैसे ही बहुत लंबा खिंच गया, हम लोगों का 1 घंटे का टारगेट होता है एंड वी हैव ऑलमोस्ट कवर्ड लाइक 1 hour and 25 minutes. So thank you so much everyone. Do like the video and share it with your friends also. Thank you everyone. कल भी मिलते हैं at the same time. Bye bye.